Hello everyone, my name is Amy Lanning. I can film everyone. Ouch! I just pulled my muscle yesterday working out. Does this sound familiar? If you're anything like me, this is the time of year when you start feeling like you need to start exercising again. Many advise that starting your exercises before the holiday season is the way to go. This reduces gaining weight over the holiday season and gets a jump start of the new year. But that's not the point of my speech. You and I both know that we should be exercising. Everybody knows that. What I'm going to talk to you about today is something maybe you don't know. Many people that start exercising commit one of two errors before they begin. Either they don't stretch at all, they go straight from sitting on the couch to doing intense exercising, or they do static stretching before they begin exercising. Both are all bad. Proper warm-up is critical to achieving the highest level of performance and avoiding injury. So, for those of you who are new to exercising, you may be wondering, what is static stretching and what is the proper way to stretch? These are the subjects that I'm going to be talking to you about today. I am credible for this topic because exercising has been a big part of my life for many years, and I've done a lot of research about what the proper way to warm up before exercising is and how it will reduce injury and promote positive outcome. In my speech, I will talk to you about the different types of stretching and tell you why static stretching is bad and dynamic stretching is the best way to begin your exercise. So, for those of you who don't exercise very much, what is static stretching? Static stretching is the use of non-active muscles in which you slowly relax and move the body. Usually involves holding up positions for 30 to 60 seconds. It sometimes produces some discomfort, but it shouldn't produce pain. Some 3 different common static stretches are the butterfly, the standing hurdler, and the calf stretch. I'll quickly demonstrate those 3. The first one is the butterfly. It means holding your feet, and it should stretch the inside of your calf muscle. The second one I mentioned was a standing hurdler, in which you stand on one leg, you grab one leg, and you stretch the outside of your leg. The last one was the calf stretch. This involves placing your leg up against a wall or an object and pushing so that you stretch the outside of your calf. So what is dynamic stretching? Dynamic stretching uses controlled movement in which you use repetitive motion that keeps moving the muscles farther with each repetition. It should get your body loose and your heart pumping. The goal of these movements is to focus on the muscles that you will be using. I am somebody who enjoys running, so I often work out my leg muscles. Some common dynamic stretches that I like to do are the knee highs, in which I move my knees up, the butt kickers, and the jumping jacks, which you all know. Nathan Koch, personal trainer, said, "Dynamic stretching is ideal prior to exercising to prepare the joints for movement and muscles for activation." He then went on to say that static stretches are done before an activity, they may actually inhibit the muscle's ability to fire. Patrick Tremblay, Master of Science specialized in physical performance and exercise, did a study on static and dynamic exercise's effect on agility and performance from Utah State University in 2010. His study was on 14 men and 10 women. It included 4 different types of pre-exercise protocol. One was no warm-up, the second was static stretching, the third was dynamic stretching followed by static stretching, and the fourth was dynamic stretching alone. The results of his study were interesting. It showed that no warm-up, static stretching, and dynamic stretching followed by static stretching all showed about the same results in agility. The dynamic stretching proved to be the best on agility, while the static stretching proved to be the worst. Possibly the most interesting thing in his study was the fact that dynamic stretching followed by static stretching showed to be about the same as not stretching at all. This was because any positive effects that came out of dynamic stretching were then diluted by static stretching. Many similar studies can be found on the web. One of them is by 4 professors from Aristotle University of Thessalonica, in which they performed a study on 31 female athletes at a high school in 2014. They came to a similar conclusion, saying, the study demonstrated that static stretching produces significant performance deterioration in balance, agility, reaction time, movement time compared to dynamic stretching conditions. They came to the same conclusion as Trombley, saying that dynamic stretches should be done before all exercises. Through these studies, we can see that static stretches have a negative effect on agility, strength, and movement. Why is this? It has to do with the tendons in our body. Tendons connect our bones to our muscles. When we do static stretches, these tendons become longer, and it takes longer for our muscle to contract. When we move, our tendons have to become smaller, so the longer they are with the static stretches, the longer it takes. Also, when our muscles move, the longer our tendons are, the more heat is left off the tendons, which decreases the power behind the muscle movement. Also, it affects our neurologic sensitivity. It is believed that static stretches decrease our neurologic drive. Altogether, these all decrease power, drive, and strength. So, what makes dynamic stretches different? You probably already concluded this with my previous statement about static stretches, but dynamic stretches do not elongate the tendons. They keep them short and contracted, which makes fast, quick, powerful movements. Also, it increases our body temperature and our heart rate. As our body temperature increases, our joints become lubricated, which increases range of motion and decreases friction. Also increases our heart rate, which improves our level of focus and determination. In conclusion, you can see through these studies that static stretching is less effective on body movements than dynamic. I hope this will inspire you to continue or beginning exercise programs that is safe and effective, and that you will use dynamic stretching before all your exercising to improve outcome and reduce injury. Thank you all for listening.